Today's story is about two classmates who couldn't stand each other, but ended up stuck on a remote island together. They had no choice but to work together to survive. What happens between them during their time on the island? Let's find out in this exciting story. Today's story starts with a cheerful girl named Emma. She wakes up early in the morning, full of energy, and gets ready for school. Emma is one of the smartest and most popular students in her school, and she has lots of friends who adore her. On the other hand, there's Dean, a lazy and careless boy who is very different from Emma. Dean wakes up late, brushes his teeth quickly, and sits down to play video games. At the same time, Emma's mom, Barbara, is dropping Emma and her younger sister, Stacy, off at school. Emma meets her best friend, Liz, and they start chatting. Soon, a boy named Steven comes by and says, "Hi, Emma." Liz immediately starts teasing Emma, making her blush. Later in class, their teacher, Mr. Christian Sen, announces an exciting trip to Trinity Island. He tells the students that the bus will leave at 7 a.m. the next morning. At lunch, Liz talks to their friends about Emma and Steven, joking about how this trip could bring them closer. Emma tries to change the subject and focus on the trip, but her friends are too busy making plans for her love life. During lunch, Emma notices Dean sitting alone, cutting an apple with a small knife. Miss Collier, one of the teachers, catches him and scolds him for bringing a knife to school. She drags him to the principal's office, leaving Liz to say, "See, Dean is nothing but trouble." The next morning, Emma is excited about the trip. She thanks her parents, Barbara and Phil, for letting her go. Meanwhile, Dean doesn't want to go, but his dad reminds him, "We worked hard to get you on this trip after your mistakes. Don't waste this chance." Dean reluctantly agrees. At the school, Mr. Christian Sen gathers everyone and asks them to get on the bus. As Emma gets on, Steven says hello, but Liz pulls her away, whispering, "Focus on Steven. Don't waste time on anyone else." After a long journey, the group reaches Trinity Island. Emma and her friends rush to the pool, splashing and laughing together. Steven joins them, but Dean watches from the balcony, keeping to himself. Later, one of Emma's friends tells her about a party on a local boat. Emma doesn't want to go at first, but her friends convince her. At the party, Emma looks for Liz but instead sees Steven kissing another girl. Heartbroken, Emma decides to leave. From a distance, Dean notices her reaction and silently watches. Dean teases Emma, saying, "Looks like your boyfriend is having the time of his life." Emma snaps back, "This has nothing to do with you, Dean. Just mind your own business." Suddenly, the party takes a dramatic turn as police officers arrive on the boat. They had received reports of students using drugs at the party and immediately start gathering everyone at the front of the boat for questioning. Amid the commotion, Emma loses her footing and falls overboard into the dark water. Dean sees her struggling and without hesitation dives in to save her. After pulling Emma to safety, Dean spots a small boat tied to the larger one. He helps Emma onto it and quickly cuts the rope, detaching them from the big boat. Emma looks at him in disbelief and asks, "Why did you cut the rope?" Dean replies, "I'm not getting caught up in a police raid. We'll wait for them to leave, and then get back to the main boat." But things don't go as planned. To make matters worse, Dean realizes there's no motor attached. Suddenly, a massive wave crashes over them, rocking their tiny boat. Both of them hold on tightly as the storm tosses them around through the night. When morning comes, the sea has calmed, but they are now in the middle of nowhere, floating aimlessly. Dean tries to call for help but realizes he has left his phone behind. He asks Emma if she has her phone, and while she does, there's no signal. Frustrated, Emma says, "If we'd just stayed with the party boat, we wouldn't be in this mess." Dean shrugs and tries to stay optimistic. As they continue to drift, Emma notices something on the horizon, a small island. She points it out, and Dean immediately starts paddling toward it using his hands. After a long struggle against the current, they finally reach the shore. Exhausted but relieved, they step onto the island. Emma quickly checks her phone again, hoping for a network signal, but there's none. Meanwhile, Dean rummages through the small boat and finds a flare gun, tucking it into his pocket. The two decide to explore the island, hoping to find help. As they move deeper into the forest, they come across a beautiful waterfall. Dean is mesmerized and exclaims, "Wow, this is incredible! Take a picture for your memories." Emma glares at him, clearly irritated. "Are you serious right now? We're stranded on an island and you think this is a sightseeing trip?" Dean laughs and says, "Come on, Emma. At least try to enjoy something while we're here. We'll figure a way out." Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Mr. Christensen, furious about the students' behavior, cancels the rest of the trip. Liz approaches Miss Collier and nervously admits, "I haven't seen Emma since last night. I thought she might have stayed with someone, so I didn't say anything earlier." Alarmed, Miss Collier informs Mr. Christensen, who takes attendance and realizes that not only Emma, but also Dean is missing. The police are called in, and they begin questioning Emma's friends. When asked if the missing students could have gone into the sea, an officer explains, "It's possible, but if they're stranded somewhere in the water, finding them will be very difficult. At the same time, Dean's father, Jack, and Emma's parents, Barbara and Phil, are informed of the situation. They rush to the school and demand answers from the principal, but the principal has no clear explanation. Back on the island, Dean and Emma continue their journey through the dense forest. They continue walking for hours, eventually reaching the far edge of the island. They scan the area, hoping to find someone who could help them, but the place is completely deserted. Realizing they have no choice, they decide to return to their boat. However, when they get back to the shore, they're shocked to see that the boat is gone. The strong sea waves had carried it away, leaving behind only a life jacket. Tired and defeated, both sit down, unsure of what to do next. As the sun begins to set, Dean gathers some dry sticks and lights a small fire. They decide to spend the night there. Noticing Emma shivering in the cool evening breeze, Dean takes off his shirt and hands it to her. The next morning, Dean wakes up to find Emma missing. Panicked, he starts looking for her and spots her near the shore, writing large letters in the sand. SOS. He asks, "What are you doing?" Emma replies, "Trying to save my life. We need to find water and food or we won't survive long." Dean heads toward the sea, deciding to swim and cool off. As he does, Emma watches him quietly. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Mr. Christensen is meeting with Emma and Dean's parents. He informs them that the police are actively searching for their children and have found traces of a small boat in the sea. Jack, Dean's father, gets frustrated and suggests hiring a private rescue team, but Mr. Christensen reassures him, saying, "The police are doing their job. We need to trust them." On the island, Emma is searching for water when she suddenly feels as though someone is watching her. The feeling unnerves her, and she quickly leaves the area. When she finds Dean, they both start gathering leaves and branches to build a small hut for shelter. They also work together to write a giant SOS on the beach, hoping a rescue team might spot it from above. For food, they explore the island and eat whatever they can find. Dean discovers a banana tree and picks some bananas for both of them. The heat on the island becomes unbearable, so Emma cuts her long pants into shorts. That evening, as Dean naps inside the hut, Emma lies down beside him. In his sleep, Dean turns toward Emma and places his hand on her. The next day, Emma bathes under a waterfall when Dean approaches, asking for sunscreen. Emma says, "I'm bathing here. Go somewhere else." Dean smirks and replies, "You told me to keep watch for safety, so here I am." Emma frowns and says, "I told you because I think there's someone else on this island. We're not alone." Back at the hotel, Emma's disappearance has made the news. The police tell her parents that the chances of finding Emma and Dean alive are slim, and they've started searching for their bodies. This news breaks Barbara's heart. Phil comforts her, saying, "I'll take care of Stacy at home, but don't lose hope. We'll find Emma." Meanwhile, Jack rents a helicopter and joins Barbara in the search. They fly over the sea, scanning the area for any sign of their children. As night falls on the island, Emma tells Dean, "I miss my family so much." Trying to cheer her up, Dean starts looking around but stumbles upon a human skull. But Emma panics at the sight. "This must have been someone who got stuck here. Just like us. Look what happened to him. What if the same happens to us?" Dean tries to calm Emma down and says, "No, this person was probably a fisherman, or maybe even a smuggler who ended up here by accident. We're not like him. We have people looking for us, people who care about us. We're not alone. I promise we'll survive. Trust me." Saying this, he leans in and kisses her. For Emma, it was her first time kissing someone. As the night deepens, Dean crosses all boundaries of closeness. That night, for the first time, Emma feels the thrill of experiencing something so wild and untamed. By morning, Emma wakes up and looks around. She realizes Dean is nowhere to be seen. She starts calling out his name. She searches desperately. She finds Dean digging a pit. Confused, she asks him what he's doing. But before he can respond, Emma trips and falls, scraping her knee. Dean quickly cleans her wound and reassures her, "You're going to be okay." Later, at the waterfall, Dean opens up about his mother, who died in a car accident. Emma listens intently, touched by his vulnerability. As rain begins to fall, Dean starts playing in it, and Emma joins him. They laugh, dance, and share a light-hearted moment. Dean places a flower in Emma's hair, making her smile. Emma says, "I want to enjoy the storm again." Dean smiles and starts preparing for another night of adventure. Meanwhile, a month has passed since Emma and Dean disappeared. The police declare them likely dead and end the search. However, Emma's mother Barbara and her friend refuse to give up hope. Barbara organizes another search with Jack, distributing flyers with their details. After days of searching, Jack tells Barbara, "We've tried everything. Maybe it's time to go home." Heartbroken, Barbara agrees but remains uncertain about her daughter's fate. Back on the island, Dean tells Emma about a green light his mother described, said to appear at sunset. Together, they decide to look for it, giving them a sense of purpose. Weeks pass, and they grow closer, enjoying the beauty of the island and finding solace in each other's company. They become intimate with each other whenever they want. One day, Emma asks Dean about his first intimate experience. Dean laughs and shares, "It was with an older friend back in school." When Dean asks Emma how she felt, she shyly admits, "It was good." They laugh, and Emma says, "I want more experience." Dean grins and agrees. While foraging for fruits, they hear the distant hum of a plane. Rushing to an open space, Dean searches Emma's bag for the flare gun, but it's missing. The plane flies away, leaving them devastated. Later, Emma notices other items are missing. A chilling thought crosses her mind. "Dean, I think someone else is on this island, and they've been stealing from us." A few more days pass, and still, only one plane has passed over the island. No one has come to rescue them. Dean and Emma sit in the hut, discussing whether they should give up on the hope of returning home. They decide to accept their situation and spend their time together in the forest. Suddenly, Dean hears the sound of an animal. He goes into the forest to investigate, and Emma, worried about him, follows. As Dean ventures further, he encounters a black panther. He runs in panic, and after a long chase, he falls to the ground. When Emma reaches him, she sees that Dean is holding a blood-soaked knife, having killed the panther in self-defense. Back home, Emma and Dean's friends and family try to continue their lives without them. Emma and Dean, however, have adapted to life on the island. They've learned to hunt and build a life together in the hut, having let go of the hope that anyone would come to save them. One day, as they lie down to rest, Emma notices that their missing items are falling from above. Looking up, they see a monkey on a tree throwing their things down. To their surprise, the monkey is holding the flare gun that Dean had been unable to find before. Emma offers the monkey a banana, and the monkey throws the flare gun down. Just as they retrieve the gun, they hear the sound of a helicopter. They rush to an open area, and Emma successfully fires the flare. The helicopter crew spots them, and they are finally rescued. After 3 months, Emma and Dean return home. At the airport, their friends and families greet them with joy. They are taken to their respective homes, and that night, Dean visits Emma. They talk about how strange it feels to be back home, and Dean leans in to kiss her, but Emma pulls back, explaining that her parents are constantly visiting her. She invites him to a party her parents are hosting to celebrate their return. The next day, at the party, Emma's parents give a speech about their children's return. Stacy asks Dean why he's not with everyone. Dean signals Emma to join him, but she ignores him. Hurt, Dean leaves the party. Emma becomes very famous after returning, but Dean remains isolated. Whenever they pass each other, they exchange only a brief glance. A few days later, Emma calls Dean, but he doesn't answer. Stacy visits Emma's room and tells her, "After you disappeared, we missed you so much. Mom and Dad were devastated. We thought we might have lost you forever, but now we're all together, and it feels like everything's right again." Emma responds, "You're my very good sister," and they decide to attend the prom together. Meanwhile, Dean visits his mother's grave, crying as he remembers her. On prom night, Dean watches TV at home when his father asks if he wants to wear his coat to the party. Meanwhile, Emma arrives at the prom with her sister. Liz leads Emma to a surprise, and Emma sees Dean standing outside in the rain, waiting for her. This sight brings back memories of the island, and Emma, moved, steps outside to join him. Dean and Emma are reunited, and they kiss, their happiness shining through. The story ends here.